Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Lord, turn his face toward you.
And give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you.
You hear this propaganda that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world.
Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world.
The fastest growing religion in the world.
Fastest growing religion.
Fastest growing religion.
Fastest growing religion.
Fastest growing religion,
Which is a load of utter nonsense.
And give you peace.
from 2000 to 2015, Islam was
fastest growing faith in the world.
Does that mean it's true? Obviously not.
Lord bless you and keep you.
When people see the true face of Islam, they don't like it and leave. At some point, a sufficiently large percentage of Muslims will actually be secret ex-Muslims.
Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you.
Fourth, the growth rate of Islam is falling faster than the world population growth rate.
And give you peace.
When religious freedom arrives, Islam cannot survive. Losing 20 or 30% of your children to conversion while attracting far less than 1% of other religions' children is a recipe for disaster. Does that mean that Islam has become less true as its growth rate has slowed? There are 4 factors that impact a religion's population: the number of children born to adherents, the number of deaths, the number of people converting into the religion, and the number of people converting out of the religion. The growth rate of Islam is due entirely to the first 2 factors. Muslim women on average have more children, and the population is younger than the world average, meaning there are currently less deaths. The latter is obviously not a permanent feature of Islam. And the birth rate of Muslim women is falling as well. Soon it may match the world average, negating any advantage Islam has in that category.
We pray a blessing, manna rain down from heaven. This isn't second guessing, we know that we are protected. May the peace that surpasses all understanding be our message. Grace and favors in your nature, in your
category. As far as conversions go, Islam has a big apostasy problem.
His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children.
You heard that right. There's an avalanche, a tsunami of apostasy, on the brink of knocking Islam over.
And the children, and the children, may His favor be upon you.
The data in countries with religious freedom agrees. For example, in the United States, 31% of children born to Muslim families end up leaving the religion in their adulthood.
And 1,000 generations, your family and your children.
Soon, Islam will no longer be the world's
And their children, and their children, be upon you. And 1,000 generations.
adulthood, more than double the apostasy rate experienced in Christianity.
And your family, and your children, and their children, and their children.
And the story is similar in Europe and everywhere else with religious freedom.
May His favor be upon you. 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children.
In the matter.
As much as we say Islam is the fastest growing religion in the globe, I want to tell you something that I've studied. Okay. It's the religion with the large number of defectors, the largest number of defectors.
And their children, and their children. Go before you, and behind you, and beside you.
Carefully. But the biggest problem for Islam isn't apostasy, but rather the number of converts it attracts. I looked at 20 years of survey data in the United States and found that out of over 20,000 people raised as Christians, just 20 had converted to Islam. Not 20% or even 2%, just 20 people. That's 0.1%. European data shows a very similar pattern with around 0.1% of people raised as Christians converting to Islam.
For every righteous and good brother we honor, 10 are thinking of leaving the faith. Do realize that MSAs are alhamdulillah flourishing, but for every person who comes for Jumu'ah, at least 3 or 4 are simply not caring about Islam. For every person that comes, at least 5 or 6 are even doubting.
Right. For every 1 convert, there are 5 or 6 Muslims on the verge of apostasy.
To think, and you realize that that building I inherited from Azhar al-Madinah is not a building that Allah revealed. It's a building that is constructed over centuries.
In other words, the history of Muhammad was largely invented and is not actually factual. Academic criticism.
Wallahi, I'll be honest with you. The shubuhats that I was exposed to at Yale, some of them I still don't have answers for. The reason why many of our ulama are so scared to go into these fields is because they are not qualified to answer every single shubha.
And your family, and your children, and their children.
Scrutiny. Islam cannot survive without laws against apostasy. Qaradawi explains.
لم يتركوا الردة، لو تركوا الردة ما كان هناك إسلام. كان انتهى الإسلام منذ وفاة الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Translation. If they had gotten rid of the apostasy punishment, Islam would not exist today. Shocking honesty. The vast majority of the Muslim world lives in homogeneous countries with little or no religious freedom, and thus sees very little apostasy, at least publicly. Muslim governments can no longer protect their citizens against information. Islam cannot stand up to scrutiny, and the scrutiny is coming. By 2010, there are more than 10 million Muslim converts to Christianity, and perhaps another 10 million who had left religion entirely. Of Islam combined. And as you can see from the graph on the screen, that number is growing at an ever-increasing pace. The tsunami has arrived and the house of cards is beginning to fall. Even in Saudi Arabia, where apostasy is punishable by death, and atheism is classified as an act of terror,
fastest growing religion,
but rather the world's fastest shrinking religion.